Thank you for joining me, Glenora Shipura, on NMH at 1, where we highlight the news making waves in Namibia and beyond, ranging from current affairs, community stories, sports, and economic news. Coming up in this broadcast, Geingob reiterates peace and security for SADC. Global Fund accuses government of financial mismanagement. Hinda Bwende says Amupanda stereotyped her Damara culture. Stay tuned for these stories and more news on NMH at 1. Getting into our midday news update, Agriculture and Land Reform Minister Carl Schleitwein handed over farm infrastructure to the members of the America Farmers Cooperative in America at Olumpelengwa village in Omusadi region on Wednesday. The site handed over has a borehole, elevated solar panels, elephant-proof fence, an elephant drinking trough, taps, a livestock drinking trough, and an elevated water reservoir. Visual News highlights local stories from across Namibia. We get into this right after the break.
Welcome to Active Kids, a daily TV show that sparks creativity, learning, and fun for young minds. With exciting activities and lessons, Active Kids inspires curiosity and a love for learning.
New face to the 15.
The perfect mix of play and education. Don't miss out on the fun. Tune in to Active Kids on NTV every weekday at 10 o'clock and let the adventure begin.
Deputy Health Minister Anna Shiweda yesterday commenced with her visit to the 4O regions to assess the state of agricultural machinery and the ministry's readiness for the upcoming cropping season. Let's take a look.
We are here in Oshana region. It's the first region I am visiting. My program is taking me to the 4 regions, Ohangwena, Oshikoto, Omsati, and Oshana. The objective is to assess our readiness for the dryland crop program. Starting October, we have to start plowing, assisting farmers with the provision of equipments and provision of inputs. And today we are here at the Technology Center where the equipments have been packed through and which were procured through NANSIP. These are equipment that we have been waiting for years. And here today we saw 24 of the first tractors that have been supplied with the fitting equipments. The day also saw me visiting or having a meeting with the officials of the ministry to discuss the readiness for the program, for the dryland crop program, and also to iron out and to provide me with the challenges they are experiencing in the provision of the service. We had a very fruitful meeting, and all the challenges they are experiencing have been discussed, and we will see how we can provide solutions to these problems before the onset of the cropping program. As a tradition and as protocol dictates, I also visited the office of the governor. We had a very fruitful discussion, and he has really provided a lot of advices and inputs on how to improve our services, more specific in this region. So tomorrow the program is taking us to Oshikoto region, where we are also going to do exactly the same that we did today, but also visiting our vaccination points. And on that one, I think we will provide an input on what is on the ground tomorrow, because vaccination of our livestock is also very important, and we want to encourage farmers to start supplying their animals to the abattoir, and this animal must be healthy before they are provided. Therefore, I think it's a very important trip that I'm undertaking, and especially before the cropping season. And this year, we want to be ready for the farmer, for the food production and the food self-sufficiency of our population. Thank you.
As the development of our local capability, how to manage the sector. As you can understand, this is a new sector, and we certainly do not have all the necessary capability that is needed, and therefore it needs to be a priority. We need to invest time and resources to understand and upskill ourselves to be effective participants and managers of this sector. Without the prerequisite skills and capabilities, we will not reap the full potential economic benefits of our oil. And these local capabilities, we urge also the international oil companies, again our investors, to be active participants in this effort. We will not achieve the requisite local capabilities without effective and serious participation of the international oil companies. Not long ago, the Ministry of Mines and Energy organized a workshop to discuss issues related to local content policy in the oil sector. And here we define local content as the active participation in the workforce and entrepreneurs in the upstream oil and gas sector through not only training, employment, and local procurement of goods and services. And local content will facilitate economic diversification. It will deepen backward and forward linkages from various segments of the oil and gas sector value chain, and thereby our local content policy will bear fruit only when all the stakeholders, the investors, and the entrepreneurs collaborate and pull together in the same direction.
After the break, the Namibian Sun leads us into the newspaper review segment. Let's take a look at our daily newspapers, starting off with the Namibian Sun's front page. Deputy Minister of Finance and Public Enterprises Maureen Hindamwende yesterday testified in the Windhoek High Court that activist Job Amopanda aligned her with the stereotype that Damara people do not hesitate to step others. The stereotyping is untrue, she said. Hindamwende is suing Amopanda over statements he made on social media. The issue stems from a tweet Amopanda posted in July 2021 in which he said Hindamwende was whiz-whiz during the liberation struggle and wouldn't think twice about taking out a knife. We'll be right back with this short break.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
eTicket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
We continue with our newspaper review, still with the Namibian Suns. On its third page, 2 police officers who were arrested for illegal hunting were yesterday denied bail in the Katutura Magistrates Court. Eulu Isaacs and Marian Ngawaubi Namola, both warrant officers within the Namibian police, were arrested for illegally hunting for oryx without a permit on a farm near Hosea Kutako International Airport recently. Now, according to Environment Ministry spokesperson Romeo Muyunda, they received a tip of that someone was selling game meat. On the morning of Monday, the 7th of August, 3 officials from the ministry and a member of the police undertook an undercover operation and contacted the seller, indicating that they were in need of game meat. He said the seller responded that fresh game meat was available and sent the address. According to him, the game meat of the 2 oryx was found at the flat, while another 2 carcasses were sold to other police officers. Now, on the front page of the Republican, the Ministry of Mines and Energy, Tom Alwindo, says that the recent oil and gas discoveries are not an automatic solution to our socio-economic challenges. He mentioned this at the opening ceremony for the Oil and Gas Conference that ends today. On page 3, the hearing of the man who is accused of sexually abusing young boys will start next month. Johan Marie's trial had to start last week, but it was postponed to the 18th of September. The reason for the delay is that Marie's legal representative, Tuna Nihinda, withdrew from the case. Now, on the front page of the Allgemeine Zeitung leads with the Namibian Tourism Report, which shows a record increase of 98.1% in 2022. 461,027 tourists visited the country compared to 232,756 visitors the previous year. The Minister of Tourism, Environment and Forestry, Pohamba Shifeta, announced in the annual report on tourism for 2022. Now, on page 3, the Allgemeine Zeitung highlights the National Health Insurance Fund is costing the state up to an additional $900 million annually, apparently caused by fraud and collusion. The responsible unions are protesting on behalf of disadvantaged workers. Schleitwan had warned about this previously. After the break, we continue with more newspaper review.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
We continue with our newspaper review, starting off with the Namibian's front page. The Namibian reports that the Global Fund has accused the Ministry of Health and Social Services of mismanaging grants following the disbursement of over $7.5 billion to Namibia since 2004. This has prompted the fund to categorize the country as facing a significant fiduciary and financial risk, which means the ministry is at risk of losing funds or to discontent about the way the money was handled. On page 3, the National Council's plan to hold a workshop on protocol and etiquette for members of parliament spouses has been condemned by the opposition and analysts who have demanded the workshop's cancellation, labeling it an irresponsible move. However, National Council Secretary Tausi Namiseb said the workshop was being held to create a peaceful environment by avoiding gender-based violence against their members. It was reported last week that the National Council is set to spend at least $189,000 million on a 5-day seminar on the proper behavior of the MP's 42 spouses. The New Era's lead story reports that President Hage Geingob reiterated the need for increased commitment by the SADC organ to promote and strengthen peace and security in the region. Geingob made these remarks during the 43rd Ordinary SADC Summit of Heads of State and Government in Luanda, Angola, yesterday. Without peace, there is no development, and without development, there is no peace, he said. Now, on page 3, to increase its revenue stream, the Keetmanshoop municipality last week signed an agreement with Powercom for the latter to manage, maintain, and facilitate the Oxpass telecommunications tower. Through this agreement, it will earn 60% of all net revenue derived from customers renting services at the tower. The local authority's acting CEO, Catherine Boy, said the tower was not profitable to the council, hence the decision to sign the agreement with Powercom. On to Market Watch reports that after hiking the repo rate by 100 basis points thus far in 2023, the Bank of Namibia at the 4th monetary policy announcement decided to keep the repo rate at 7.75%. That means the prime lending rates for local commercial banks will also remain at 11.50%. Similarly, the South African Reserve Bank also left the repo rate unchanged at 8.25% at the 4th monetary policy announcement in June. That leaves Namibia 50 basis points behind. After the break, we get into your economic news. Do stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraifa. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
Let's take a look at our economic news. A total of 1,260 new vehicles were sold in July, a decline of 4.6% month-on-month from the 1,320 sold in June, but 86.4% more than the 676 sold in July 2022, according to IJG Securities. Year-to-date, 7,700 have been sold, of which 3,797 were passenger vehicles, 3,451 were light commercial vehicles, and 452 medium and heavy commercial vehicles. By comparison, total new vehicle sales stood at 5,862 at the same point in 2022 and 5,692 in 2021. On a 12-month cumulative basis, a total of 12,761 new vehicles were sold at the end of July, representing a 33% year-on-year increase from the 9,597 sold over the comparable period a year ago. Let's take a look at our economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades against the British pound at 24.25, against the euro at 20.75, against the US dollar at 19.8, and 2 Namibian dollars and 62 cents gets you 1 Chinese yuan. On the NSX, Capricorn investment went up at 3.20%. Oral index went down at 0.51%, while local index went up at 0.52%. On the commodities market, all major commodities went up. Brent crude oil trading at 1.07%, going for $84.56 per barrel. We'll be right back with news from Africa after this. Getting into our news from across the continent, more than 60 people are feared dead after a boat carrying migrants was found off Cape Verde in West Africa. 38 people, including children, were rescued, with footage showing them being helped ashore, some on stretchers on the island of Sal. Almost all those on board the boat, which was at sea for over a month, are thought to have been from Senegal. Cape Verde officials have called for global action on migration to help prevent further loss of life. The vessel was first spotted on Monday, police told the AFP news agency. Initial reports suggested the boat had sunk, but it was later clarified that it had been found drifting. The wooden pirogue-style boat was seen almost 320 kilometers off Sal, a part of Cape Verde, by a Spanish fishing boat, which then alerted authorities, police have said. We'll be right back with international news. Getting into our international news, a Texas woman has been charged with threatening to kill a judge who is overseeing a criminal case against former U.S. President Donald Trump. Abigail Jo Shry allegedly phoned the court in Washington, D.C. on the 5th of August and used a racial slur in her message for U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan. Shry also allegedly threatened to kill a Democratic member of Congress. She admitted making the call after investigators traced her phone number, according to a court document. In the call, Shry allegedly told the judge, who is overseeing an election conspiracy case against Trump, that she is in their sights and that they want to kill her. Prosecutors say Shry added, "If Trump doesn't get elected in 2024, we are coming to kill you." The caller also threatened all Democrats in Washington, D.C. and the LGBTQ community, according to the court filing. Now, after this short break, we get into your local and sports news. Getting into your local sports news, the annual Erongo School Sports Regional Olympics will take place at the prestigious Veneta Sports Field in Swakopmund on the 19th of August. The finest young talents from schools across the region will gather and compete in soccer, netball, basketball, and volleyball at the event. Now, the honor of reaching the respective finals on the 26th of August will be at stake at the Hage Geingob Stadium this Saturday, when the Namibia Rugby Union hosts its semi-finals for the Men's Premier and Reserve League, as well as the Women's 15th League. Now, 26-year-old long jumper Lionel Coetzee, as well as marathon runners Alina Armas and Thomas Reinhold, departed this week to take part in the 19th Athletics World Championships in Budapest, Hungary. We'll be right back with your international sports news. Now, Manchester City won the UEFA Super Cup for the first time on Wednesday night, but needed penalties to beat Sevilla after a 1-1 draw in Athens. Skipper Millie Bright said her team were embracing an incredible opportunity to do something an English side has not done or managed since 1966, to win a World Cup. Now, Wales coach Warren Gatland has made 13 changes to his starting lineup for Saturday's World Cup warm-up match with the Springboks, giving some players a final chance to impress before he names his squad next Monday. We'll be right back with the news highlights from today's broadcast after this.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouth-watering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Let's take a look at the news highlights from today's broadcast. More than 60 people are feared dead after a boat carrying migrants was found off Cape Verde in West Africa. 38 people, including children, were rescued, with footage showing them being helped ashore, some on stretchers on the island of Sal. A Texas woman has been charged with threatening to kill a judge who is overseeing a criminal case against former U.S. President Donald Trump. The honor of reaching the respective finals on the 26th of August will be at stake at the Hage Geingob Stadium this Saturday when the Namibia Rugby Union hosts its semi-finals for the Men's Premier and Reserve League as well as the Women's Fitness League. Those have been your highlights, and with that we've come to the end of our broadcast. From me, Glenn